Alright everybody, we are here for these discussion style videos, which I've been trying to put out more on the channel. I have Jessica with me.
Hi!
We are doing a video response to John Hancock's, or the Immoral Hancock's video, Is Backwards Compatibility Necessary? Is more or less what it boiled down to, which I thought was a really interesting topic. And now he had guest Steve Wright, who is really big in our Wii U collecting Facebook pages. So I always think it's kind of cool to see him on Hancock's channel, because he's been on there a couple times, I'm pretty sure. Either way, they both were on there. They argued really good points. Really good video if you're interested in backwards compatibility at all. The pros and cons of it, I think they outlined pretty well, but those two guys are two really big collectors. So I thought it'd be really interesting to get Jessica's opinion on backwards compatibility, since you are not
watch the video.
Yeah, she also hasn't seen the video.
I saw you watching it, but I did not watch it.
Right, I did.
So I don't know the points they made.
Yeah, she doesn't know their points. I just kind of ran by some of the talking points we would have for today so that she would be a little prepared. But that's really it. Everything else is going to be her opinions, and as someone who's not a hardcore collector, because in their video they argumented that backwards compatibility is only for the collector. Or at least collectors are the one who benefit the most, which I thought was super interesting. I thought it would be the other way around.
Yeah.
Because Steve even goes on, and I'm not going to sit here and try to talk about all their points, because I would, it'd be cool if you guys went and watched those videos, but he was saying he doesn't need a PS3 with backwards compatibility because he's got a PS2, a PS1, he's got all this stuff. So I thought it was even interesting to say that backwards compatibility is for the collector, because I feel like it's for
as
the other regular consumer.
I feel like as a collector, you would rather play it on that specific console and not on, like, if you were collecting for the Wii, or say, you're collecting for the GameCube, you don't want to play all the GameCube games on the Wii. You want to play some on the GameCube.
Right.
So you wouldn't want to have a Wii just because
it's super interesting that you brought, and we don't know how long this is going to be, because this is going to be Jessica and I going, talking. So it could go on forever. But it's interesting you bring up the Wii and the GameCube's backwards compatibility, because that's what I've been playing on my GameCubes on right now, because
we don't know where the GameCube is.
Why you gotta embarrass me like that?
Sorry, you can cut that out.
No, that's funny. That is partially true. Thank you, Loud Truck. But the other part of it,
packed it up or something.
The other part of it is that the Wii has the HDMI modification to it. I have an HDMI converter, so I'm able to play it on my big TV.
Yeah.
Whereas I couldn't play the GameCube on the big TV.
Yeah.
All right. So it's very interesting that you brought up the Wii.
That was a bad point then.
No, it's not a bad point. But no, I think you have a point that collectors probably want to play on the console they are collecting.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would want to.
Right. So did you want to go into another one of your points, or?
Let's see. Well, I mean, one of them.
All your points are for backwards compatibility, right?
Yes. Okay. To be fair, yeah. Because I'm all for it.
Yeah. I figured you would be.
But I mean, one thing, you can play multiple games on one system. It's not just that specific system.
So if you look at the original PS3 model, even when the PS3 came out, you already had access to all your PS2 games and all your PS1 games.
Yes, which is why, I really like that. Did we, and yours does or doesn't play that? I can't remember. We both have a PS3.
Neither of our PS3s.
And neither one are that model.
And
but I would have loved to have that one. But I like that mine plays the PS1. But yeah, I would like, a game system where it plays all of those, so I can buy any of those games and play it on one system instead of having to have all those systems.
Which is why I think backwards compatibility is better for the modern consumer who maybe sold their PS4, sold their PS3, but maybe kept some of the games lying around.
Yeah.
So, or they're selling their PS3 or their PS4 to get money towards a PS5. It's like, well, I don't have to sell off my games because the PS5 will play these games. Hypothetically, of course.
Like in our case, we didn't get a PS4. We have a PS3. We have two. But
I'm glad you mentioned that.
We didn't get a PS4 because we heard that the PS5 was going to be backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So we were just going to get a PS5 when it came out.
So the PS4 was not backwards compatible with anything.
Right.
It's an isolated unit. And we were debating on getting a PS4 because you had Persona and Kingdom Hearts and
yeah, there's so many games for the PS4 that I want.
But then when rumors started circulating a year or two ago that the PS5 would be backwards compatible with the PS4, we just said screw it.
Yeah, we decided.
Why buy a PS4? Because it's that isolated unit. Like, it'll never have any value outside of PS4 games.
Yeah.
Whereas the PS3 will always have the PS1.
Mm-hmm.
And the PS5, from what it looks like,
we'll have PS4.
We'll have at least the PS4
and PS5. So it's like, why not wait and get that so you can play PS4 and PS5 games instead of just getting a PS4 and then waiting a while and getting a PS5.
And then games shrivel up in a year.
Exactly.
And that's it. Not that there wouldn't be enough PS4 games so that, like, if you bought a PS4 and got the games you want, there's plenty of content there to be satisfied. But the well is going to shrivel up next year.
Yeah.
It'll get down to where it's like, I don't even think they get the Just Dance games, but, you know, they get Madden, they get Call of Duty, and that's it. That's all that's really funneling into their system. It's like, why limit yourself? And the PS5 will have the PS4 and the next 5 years of Sony games. So
which is why I'd much rather get one that is backwards compatible instead of...
So I don't want this to be a central point, but the market has told us that backwards compatibility... No, I think this is fine to be a central point, but I think that this could be a video in and of itself. Is that backwards compatibility has often told us that the winner does not have backwards compatibility. And it's almost been 50-50, in fact, because the PS2 is the highest selling console of all time. It had backwards compatibility with the PS1, so that's interesting. The Dreamcast did not have backwards compatibility. The GameCube did not have backwards compatibility. And, of course, Xbox had just launched. So no other console had backwards compatibility with the PS2.
Except the PS2, yeah.
Was that a reason the PS2 dominated? Don't know, because we were kids when that happened. That was like 2000, 2001.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if your PS1 broke. Hey, we got a PS2 to play
But the PS2 was also a DVD player, which was big at the time.
That's true.
And
Sony... the modern consoles, too.
Sony had the better games.
Yeah.
By a mile, that generation.
That's what I mainly remember playing is the PS2.
The PS2's library stands on its own as a juggernaut.
We had a SNES at one point, but I mainly remember the PS2. That's the thing I played the most games on.
So it's tough to say, was this just a perfect storm for the PlayStation 2? Being a DVD player. GameCube wasn't a DVD player. Xbox might have. I don't even think the Xbox did. I think it had to have an adapter. And I don't know anything about the Dreamcast, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dreamcast also did. So Sony was the only one that played DVDs? That's insane. It was the only one with backwards compatibility, and it had the best libraries.
Yeah.
So is that an isolated incident, or did backwards compatibility help it? And then the next generation, the Wii sold like hotcakes. It's like the second highest selling console, maybe the third. I don't know where the Switch is, and I don't know where anything is. I don't look at numbers, but the Wii was also a very high selling console.
Yeah.
But if you remember what we were talking about the before show, is did backwards compatibility even matter? Because the reason the Wii was so popular was because it got people who weren't gamers to come out and vote.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it that way. So, I was telling you, did Grandma Jenny and Uncle Benny, where they were like, oh man, I can pop my GameCube games into this, or were they like, oh man, Wii Sports?
Yeah.
So I have no idea if backwards compatibility was even the deciding factor.
I don't know. We never had a Wii.
It's really weird to me.
We had a GameCube.
And then you guys just GameCube, PS2, and then skipped to the 360?
Yeah, we had original Xbox, but and then we went to the 360.
Y'all balled out that generation, huh? Did you have a Dreamcast?
No. But we had multiple 360s and stuff.
But my whole point is, did backwards compatibility influence the Wii's sales? Because I don't
think so.
You do? Because it capitalized on a casual market. How many of those casual people had a GameCube?
I don't know, but I think if we had known... That's funny. If we had known growing up that the Wii was backwards compatible, we would have bought one sooner.
But you didn't know.
My mom bought one last year, or this year,
GameCube
whatever,
games.
to play GameCube games.
But you guys didn't know the backwards compatibility.
No, I played a Wii at my friend's house, and you know what we played? Just Dance and Zumba. That's the only thing I knew about a Wii.
But that tells you who was buying the Wii. That tells you who was buying the Wii. Zumba and Just Dance. But no, my point is, John in the video brings up a point that people don't even know the PS3 is backwards compatible with the PS1.
Yeah.
So is it really a selling factor? And that brings
with
us...
that, with the PS3, I don't think it is.
And that brings us to the PS3, who... if you want a good history lesson on the PS3, then go watch Adam's YouTube channel. Maybe I'll link all these down below.
Yeah,
I don't know. But he talks about the PS3 extensively. Him and I think another channel talk about how when the PS3 came out, it was losing money. It cost more to make. And they were just trying to sell PS3s and make their money back on video games, is how he explains it. And that system at launch had backwards compatibility of PS2 and PS1.
Yeah.
Now, I don't remember the launch of that system, but I know in my household it was 360 and Wii, and then PS3 was trying to keep up.
Yeah.
And that was so funny because the PS2 was so dominant.
Yeah.
But, and this is with the Wii being this weird casual system and the Xbox 360 having the red ring of death. PS3 couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And it had backwards compatibility. So I think that's when the tonal shift started being like, backwards compatibility can't save you.
Yeah.
Just because you're backwards compatibility, it doesn't save you.
Yeah.
The PS3 was a flop at first, and then they ended up salvaging and gaining a lot of ground, and then the PS4 came out, and that gets us to that generation.
Yeah.
Where, what was the backwards compatibility console of that generation?
Xbox One.
Wii U.
Oh yeah, Wii U. Sorry.
Xbox One.
Remember.
You are right. Xbox One has backwards
it
compatibility.
Plays some.
But who was backwards compatibility right out of the gate?
Wii U, because it can play Wii.
And yeah, our chairs sound like the door was open, so I was getting ready for a murderer to come in. The Wii U was backwards compatible right out of the gate, and backwards compatibility did not save it.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
it
on
flopped
some consoles
immediately.
It could.
They weren't able to save it like Sony could.
Like for the new ones coming out.
Don't steal my thunder, because
Okay.
now we're at the last or the most recent generation.
But you're supposed to be against backwards compatibility.
Everything I'm saying for the last 2 minutes has been
I
anti-backwards
guess so.
compatibility.
Okay, continue.
So, we are now dealing with the PS4 and the Switch have no backwards compatibility. Xbox
Ridiculous.
One X had started incorporating Xbox and Xbox 360 games that they still had the rights to. Some people cared. But did the casual market care? I don't know. And then, now, PS5 was rumored to have PS1 through PS5 games.
Which would have been awesome.
It's still on the table,
but we don't know for
but
sure.
it seems a lot less likely now.
But we know
it's still
for
on
sure.
the table.
Didn't you say they confirmed PS4?
I have heard it from two different people
They
that Sony's
better.
confirmed it. One was a GameStop employee, and then one was a YouTuber.
Okay.
So,
They better.
I mean, obviously two credible sources. Now, Jessica and I have talked. We obviously have a Switch. It has no backwards compatibility outside of the online store.
Right.
The PS4 has no backwards compatibility. We skipped it. The PS5 is believed to only have backwards compatibility with the PS4.
Yeah.
Xbox comes out and says, and now I haven't heard this from Microsoft, but I've heard it from several different YouTubers, that the Xbox Series X, we should have, but we're not professional YouTubers, so
You can pop something
we're
up on the
Let's
screen if
Players.
you
We're
look it
not
up.
we're not a news source, right? Like, you don't come to our channel looking for news. But the Xbox Series X, like, Xbox comes out and says, hey, we have Rare, Double Fine, we have all these companies that we're hiring or like buying to make games. We are working with all these third-party companies. Like, I think Ubisoft is going to be pretty invested in Xbox's launch. They're saying, hey, we are backwards compatibility with almost every single Xbox game. Xbox 360, One, and now this console.
Yeah.
We'll be able to play it all. Okay?
Which is awesome.
And
but-
there's leaks going around that Microsoft is going to have the more or the less expensive console. And you and I have discussed, we feel like they could do that to spite Sony.
Yeah.
Like, it's feasible that they could
Yeah.
come out with a price cut just to cut off
They can
Sony.
afford it.
Yeah, they can afford to take the loss. They can afford to be Sony
They're
this
in so
generation
many
taking the
areas,
loss.
Yeah.
So, all of that, and I looked at Jessica and I told her all those points, and I said, so are you thinking about getting an Xbox Series X? And she said, not in the slightest. Backwards compatibility with almost the entire library. We have all these new game companies. We got heavy third-party involvement, and we might be cheaper. We might be $100, $200, who knows, cheaper than the PS5. And Jessica didn't bat an eyelash.
No.
She was not impressed at all. And it's the point that backwards compatibility for the third generation in a row may not save the losing console. The losing console may have backwards compatibility, and it just won't matter. The PS3 had amazing backwards compatibility. The Wii U had amazing backwards compatibility. The Xbox Series X is going to have... Well, the Wii didn't struggle.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
And the Xbox... You gotta let me cherry pick my consoles here. And the Xbox Series X could have amazing backwards compatibility, and it's not enough to save you. That is my point, is that it may not be enough to save you.
Because I think I would much rather have backwards compatibility, but my thing with the Xbox Series X, which we've talked about...
You can say it. It's the elephant in the room.
There are not any games on it that I would not, like, that I would want, that I could not play on the PS something.
Yeah.
The main games I want on the Xbox, no matter what they are
not exclusives.
They're not exclusives. Kingdom Hearts 3 is... Kingdom Hearts is normally an exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather play it on the PS4.
Yeah, the Xbox version
Resident Evil games
may as well not exist.
You can play everything I would want to play on the Xbox is on the PlayStation, or everything I want to play is a PlayStation exclusive.
Or a Switch exclusive.
So
Microsoft's problem is what it's always been. No exclusives, man. And you can rip on Nintendo, but people want Nintendo consoles for the exclusives.
Yeah.
And Microsoft has been getting away with, hey, we're the strongest console, so if you're going to buy Call of Duty, if you're going to buy Madden, you might as well play it on an Xbox. And that's always been true, basically. But that might not be enough to save them this generation. Their game lineup right now is pathetic.
I would much rather buy a PS5.
Me too.
Or a new Switch.
Me too. It's embarrassing. Like, okay.
Like, it's really cool, though, that it's going to be able to play all of them. And maybe eventually we could get one.
I think Xbox is the long-term play.
Yeah.
But out of the gates, their lineup is embarrassing.
No. I mean, maybe they'll come out with new... I mean, go look at the PS5 preview, whatever, that just came out this month.
Only Microsoft... Well, at this point, last month. But only Microsoft fanboys can defend them.
Yeah.
Because Halo Infinite is going to be good. But is it going to be the new Ratchet and Clank? Last of Us 2?
I saw one game that was for the Xbox Series X. That Everwild, something like that.
Everwild, yep.
That looked
Rare's
cool.
new game. Yep.
But that was it.
And that's not to say...
Almost everything on the PS5 looked like, I would want
as
to play
I told
that.
you, if Blockbuster existed, it'd be a weekend at Blockbuster. And that's not to say that Xbox isn't going to have some heavy hitters. Or that the games that aren't exclusives...
Gamefly and Redbox.
Yeah. So, like Resident Evil. Personally, I'd probably rather play that on an Xbox. Achievement is the stronger console. I would just probably rather play my split games on the Xbox.
Yeah.
But when it gets time to exclusives, which are why you buy your console, there's nothing. Like, Halo is good. To me, it's not a system seller. Like, Microsoft needs Everwild to be amazing.
Yeah.
They need that, not the Tales of game, but Bandai's new RPG. I was showing it to you a couple nights ago. They got a new RPG coming out. That needs to be amazing. That needs to rival anything Sony's doing. And they need a new Fable. They need a new Psychonauts.
Fable would be cool. I don't really know about Psychonauts. But
whatever.
But I was talking about if it's not a PlayStation exclusive, I'd still rather play it on PlayStation.
Yeah, I just...
Like, especially Kingdom Hearts 3.
They're the weaker console. They don't... Trophies suck compared to achievements. Like...
I love my PS3.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so glad you got it for me. But I love it. And I'm glad I have it.
Yeah, it's a good console.
Because otherwise I'd be stuck with the Xbox. But Like, there's just such good games on it. Like, I can't
absolutely.
play Persona on the Xbox.
Absolutely. And Microsoft needs to quit worrying. They have the opposite of Nintendo problem. Like, Nintendo says, we're going to give you the weaker console, but the better games. Microsoft is saying, we're going to give you the best console, but no games.
Yeah.
And it's like, that philosophy is just not going to work.
Because if you remember,
it just is not going to work.
With the games I want, and I like on the PS3, PS4, whatever, when I've said I wanted them on a different console, it's been the Switch. Yep. I want Persona and Kingdom Hearts on the Switch.
Yep.
I don't want them on Xbox.
Well, here's the problem with Xbox. Nintendo has completely differentiated itself.
Yeah.
It is saying that we have fun, wacky, colorful, mobile, first-party games. You can't get these anywhere. And even if you could, why the heck would you play Odyssey on a PS5 instead of a Switch? You know what I mean. Microsoft has done nothing to differentiate itself from Sony.
Yeah.
And it's like Sony knows games better. Mm-hmm. And that's been a problem because
and exclusives.
People liked Microsoft's online capabilities.
Yeah. Back
in 2000 whatever, but now people have caught on like games are what's important.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the One X has just the One X has been there for Call of Duty, it's been there for Madden, it's been there for Halo, it's been there for that kind of stuff. But single player, campaign, franchises. So Steve challenged John. He said, name 5 Microsoft exclusives.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, name 5 Microsoft exclusives.
Halo. That's all I've got. You've named some, but I don't remember them all. I know Halo's the main one.
I can tell you more OG Xbox.
I'll be honest. I didn't know Halo was an Xbox exclusive until like a couple weeks ago when you were talking about it.
Why do you admit this stuff on my gaming podcast? I didn't even know Halo was exclusive.
I didn't think about
Xbox.
Fable. I didn't even think about that.
Next, she's going to say, Mario only comes out on Nintendo consoles? This is news to me.
That's kind of obvious, okay? I didn't ever
so
play
is
Halo.
I
didn't play Halo.
Okay.
I barely played Call of Duty.
And I will not leave the viewers, you may have another point after this. Xbox says, hey, backwards compatibility with our whole console. What are you jumping up and down that you finally get to go play?
Me?
It's a rhetorical question, but you can certainly answer it. Because the answer is not much.
I would have.
The answer is not much. Here's where I think it's more important. Here's where I think it's more important, and that's that it can play Xbox One games.
Yeah.
That way, if you buy Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3...
I was going to say the Resident Evil games would be cool to play on it, because those are some of the games that I've played on the PlayStations and the Xbox, so I don't mind with Resident Evil games. But they're doing the remakes, so you don't necessarily have to go and buy the old ones. But it's still nice that the Xbox Series X would play the old ones too on the Xbox.
But you see my point. There's not like a beloved RPG. There's not a beloved platformer. No. There's not beloved mascots.
No.
It's literally you're excited that your Halo Master Chief collection gets to move over. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's Microsoft's problem.
But technically, you can make the same point for... you
can't.
No, I was going to say with the PlayStation 5, I want it because it also plays the PlayStation 4.
Right.
But it also looks like it has some cool games coming out.
Well, yeah.
But one of the bigger points is the PS4.
Now, if Sony said we're going to have PS1 through the PS5, what games are you excited to fire up?
Oh, all the Kingdom Hearts games, all the Persona games, all the God of War games, even
Jack and Daxter,
all the remakes and
Ratchet
stuff,
and Clank, Ape
it'd be cool
Escape,
to get the originals.
Dark Cloud, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that was one of my points too for the
Last of Us.
And Last of Us 2.
Shadows of Colossus.
But that was one of my points for the backwards compatibility
Spider-Man,
is that
Uncharted.
You can buy old games to play on it. You know, you don't have to just buy new games and that's it. And then I don't remember my other point.
You see my point. If Sony if Nintendo announced it,
and you don't have to buy old systems. If you didn't want to, if you don't own it, you don't have to go buy it.
Yep.
Hence what we're doing with the PS4.
Yeah, we're not screwing with the PS4. It's just not even in our vocabulary.
Yeah.
That generation the games exist.
Oh, I'm
The
ready
hardware
for the
doesn't.
games because there's so many games on the PS4 that I want.
Jessica and I have literally, since the whole it's almost confirmed or it's already confirmed, I don't know. We're not a news source.
I need to start buying PS4
That
games.
we're going to start buying like God of War
Yeah,
and
God
Last
of War,
of Us 2.
Last of Us 2, Kingdom
Horizon
Hearts
Zero
3,
Dawn, Spider-Man.
Yes, the Spider-Man, both 1 and 2. 2's going to be on
The 5.
Yeah. There was something big.
Just anything
Ni no Kuni 2.
Anything we want to play on the PS4, we need to start getting it now.
Did you
that
say
way.
God of War already?
I don't even remember.
I don't know, but the God of War. It's just there's a bunch of games for the
Onimushu.
PS4 that I want.
Onimushu. My point is like Sony announcing backwards compatibility PS1 through PS5
is such a bigger deal.
Is so huge. Microsoft announcing it, it's like cool. Maybe I'll dust off Blinks.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get Destroy All Humans
all those Xbox games you've been buying.
I have been stockpiling Xbox
perfect,
games.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I'm so excited. I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
What does this mean for my Xbox games? Because I told Jessica, I said, my least favorite part about that generation is how stinking hard it is to record.
Yeah.
Because the Xbox, we have no way of recording the Xbox.
Yeah.
PS2, we have no way of recording the PS2. GameCube, we got to run it through our Wii's HDMI adapter to run it through the Elgato.
Which we found out it doesn't even run through one of our TVs.
Yeah, our TV just won't accept the output. But I can still record over here.
Yeah.
But if the Xbox Series 1X, I'm impressed I said that right, honestly. And the PS5, if they were backwards compatibility through the whole library, it's
awesome.
like that's a YouTuber's dream.
Yeah.
Because now my Elgato can record every generation of those.
But even if it didn't, you've got the PS3 to play PS1 games.
No, because the Elgato does not record with
I forgot.
Like I had to go in
You have
and
to
screw
do
the
some kind of
settings.
setting.
It's so annoying.
So the
because
PS5 would be.
I want to show off more PS1 and PS3 games, but I gotta tinker with the Elgato to get it working.
I really hope the PS5 could play everything, but even if it doesn't, I'm fine as long as it does the PS4.
I'll settle with that because we missed that whole generation.
Yeah, but I want to pre-order a PS5, and then we'll see about the Xbox.
The only reason I'm not super gung-ho, and I did this with the Switch.
The price.
Not necessarily the price, but most consoles like die initially. They have overheating problems. They have like software patches. Like I almost never buy a console right when it comes out. Oh, excuse me.
Oh goodness.
Whew. Excuse me, guys.
I know you keep telling me not to get a Switch yet, and I'm ready to have a Switch.
That is because I'm telling you at Black Friday you can get a good sale.
I know.
And right now you have to settle for the Switch Lite, and we both think the Switch Lite. It's not. Yeah, we are getting close to 30 minutes, but I knew you and I sitting down could talk forever about this topic.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you. This is the first time you've appeared on like one of the discussion videos. You can almost call this a podcast. I know you were nervous at first that the dogs are just going wild.
I know.
Did you like being on?
Yeah, I did. It helps that it was something,
we've been talking about a lot lately, yeah. Yeah, that's true. So maybe I can get you on for something else because it's a lot more fun.
I mentioned, top
franchises.
Top franchises, yeah.
You said you didn't know if you wanted that to be a podcast or like a top 10 style video.
Yeah, either way.
There's a big difference. But
It'll still be a video.
We'll get that figured out. Any closing thoughts?
PS5 all the way. And backwards compatibility.
They still ain't got nothing on the Switch. Facts.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Switch doesn't have backwards compatibility. The whole video was about backwards compatibility.
Switch still wins. Switch has backwards compatibility. It's just very limited, and you have to pay $20 a year to have
that's
it.
ridiculous. I would much rather be able to play DS games or something like that. It'd be awesome to play a DS game on the Switch.
It would. Nintendo, everyone's been saying it. Like, just make an adapter already.
I want a new PlayStation handheld.
I think they're scared of Nintendo. They know whatever they release is going to flop.
I don't know. I don't think it would.
Dude, the Vita was as powerful as a PS3. The Nintendo 3DS could barely keep up with a PS1.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
What was the outcome of that?
Yeah.
The Vita can't even show its face.
I like the Vita so far.
Oh, I think the Vita was a great console. But market-wise, it got roasted.
Yeah. Anyway.
It got roasted.
We're getting a PS5.
Eventually.
I hope it's backwards compatible with everything, but even if it's just the PS4. Either way, I think backwards compatibility does help.
Yep, that was our long-winded presentation.
Mm-hmm.
John and Steve's video is like 13 minutes, so it's a lot more manageable, but whatever. We went 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It was fun. I'll find a video to throw over this. And that'll be it, guys. Let us know down below. Which, in their comment section, it was like overwhelmingly like, yes.
Yeah.
So, I kind of expect anyone who watches this to be like, yes. There are negatives. If you, like, as I was telling her, every remodel, the first thing they cut out is backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
So, I think that tells you something. They're either cutting it because it's not working, it doesn't matter, or it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Or any combination of the three.
Well,
so,
I mean, with the PS5, they're going to have an only digital one.
how does that work? With the backwards compatibility of the PS4. Like, hey, can I still play my PS4 games? It's a joke.
I know, but I'm saying they're already going to have one that's all digital.
Mm-hmm.
So, why not keep this one backwards compatible or make it compatible with all of them whenever they're going to have one digital one already?
Are you saying they wouldn't have to do a revision? They wouldn't have to cut it out? Yeah, but the people who are buying this for backwards compatibility will never go buy the PS5 digital model. They'll never do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
So it's not really a solution.
I'm just saying it's the ones who don't care about it, who only play digital anyway, like your brother, for example. He's on the more digital stuff. He might want the digital one.
He's a loser. So,
anyway,
just kidding.
I was just saying.
It's an option, but it's not a solution.
Yeah.
If we buy a PS5 with the hard drive and it overheats or it explodes or the disc laser gives out, I'm not going to say...
They're taking it back.
I'm not going to say, well, let's go buy the digital one. Because,
no, that's not what I'm saying.
But you're trying to act like, oh, it's okay if this one falls apart like a potato.
No, I was saying they may not,
one.
as long as everything's okay on it, they may not have to do a remodel. Because they're already going to have a remodel.
That doesn't make any sense.
Anyway.
But thank you for sharing. Just in case you didn't know, there's a digital model of the PS5. So, that's it, guys.
See ya.
Yeah. Go check out our Let's Plays. If you made it this far, then you can sit through a Let's